is very much a whole central family thing. I mean, and in most of the pioneer cabins, it's going to be your only source of heat. It's also your only source to cook anything. So it really, life really does revolve around the hearth. That did somewhat transition to the kitchen by the time we started to get stoves, because we kind of have that culture that you live your life around the fire. And the fire that never can ever go out has to be the one you're going to cook with. So in reality, you're probably, in the wintertime, you never let that fire go out, A, because it's heat, and B, because the minute you get through making breakfast, you've got to use that hearth to heat the water to wash the dishes, and about the time you get all that cleaned up and put away, now you have to turn around and start thinking about the new meal, lunchtime. And then you make that, and then you turn around and you clean and wash the dishes. And now it's time to start thinking about supper and those kind of things. In the wealthy houses, if you think about the domestic staff, yeah, they were constantly going because they might add tea or some reception, or Mrs. So-and-so is coming over. So yeah, it was a constant, always something cooking, always something going. The other thing is that the hearth, I'm trying to think about how to do this. The hearth was a much more dangerous type of cooking for women. You're dealing with big poofy skirts, long skirts, open flame, bending over the fire, stirring stuff, and there were so many women that caught fire and were burnt to death, or severely burned in the cooking process. Just around their own hearths and campfires, pioneer times where you're going west on the westward expansion, whatever you call it, there was a lot of, just basic danger for that. Not to mention the fact an open flame hearth could cause yourself a house fire, just in general, if you're not careful. The stove itself, I think, if I recall my faint history vaguely, is kind of a Benjamin Franklin addition. But we did have such a thing as, even in camp situations, as braziers, which are like little, enclosed campfire camp stoves. Those date back thousands of years. Even the Romans had those. So the concept of putting your fire into a box and enclosing it in a box was not a particularly new idea. I'm not 100% certain when you could say we had the very first, cook stoves, but I'm going to guess they were starting to come out by the late 1700s, early 1800s, but they were probably not very common. The evolution of the stove, you'll see in a lot of Civil War era houses, more of it looks like a stair-step box. So it was kind of a cross between a parlor stove and a cook stove. So it'll be a very low, flat stove, and there will be, the firebox will be down on the base, and with a flat surface for cooking in, big flat top, and then it will step up, and there will be a box kind of stacked and back on top of that a little bit going up into the chimney, and that was the oven. Those stoves, I see a lot more of those in the 1840s, 1850s Civil War era. By the time we get to the 1880s, 1890s, we've come to this kind of a box stove pattern, such as it is. And they're pretty convenient. They kind of become your little bit of everything. You had your cooking service. It was your drying. You're doing laundry in this time. If you're in the hearth era of house cleaning, it was much more difficult. You're heating water in an open cauldron or something, and trying not to put your fire out, trying not to catch yourself on fire for scrubbing. Laundry was pretty much done outdoors in a cauldron, with your scrub board and your what have you. These allowed you to have a constant supply of fresh hot water in your house for cooking and cleaning both.